Welcome to your second stimulus check update and your stimulus package update for Friday, September 18th. The Democrats in the House of Representatives are looking at proposing another stimulus package here in the next few days. Also, you guys, there's a bit of great news. After they propose that bill, they aren't going to vote on it in the House. They're going to do something a lot more intelligent than that. I'll share it with you guys in a little bit. It quite possibly is the most intelligent move I've ever seen in these stimulus negotiations. As well, if you didn't get your first stimulus check, make sure to stick around. I have some news for you, and I'll share it early on in the video. Also, other YouTubers are saying that the Republicans are moving closer to the $2.2 trillion that the Democrats want to spend by wanting a $1.5 trillion bill. Got some news for you on that. The $1.5 trillion proposal is still on the table, and Nancy Pelosi has a choice to make whether she wants to accept that deal or stick to her guns and go for the $2.2 trillion package that she would like to get passed, and that she said she's not going to go lower than that. If you already subscribed to the channel, thank you so much for being a subscriber and a part of this community. If you aren't subscribed, you can subscribe right down below. It's totally free and it helps the channel out tremendously. Thank you guys so much for all the likes and comments, even the questions that you guys ask. I'm sure to respond to every single comment that I possibly can. So thank you guys. Steny Hoyer is essentially the number 2 in the House of Representatives for the Democrats. He came out and said that the Democrats are working on another stimulus package to propose here in the next few days. Now the rest of this is going to be speculation. What I speculate is that this stimulus package might be a little bit lower than their $2.2 trillion package. Or it could be the $2.2 trillion package with the money actually allocated, since they haven't done that yet. But I would suppose it's going to be a little bit lower, since the other proposal was $1.5 trillion. Maybe this will be $1.9 or $2 trillion. And then they aren't going to vote on it. And this is the good news. They're going to take that directly to President Donald Trump and say, here's the bill that we want to propose and pass. What do you think about it? If he gives the green light, you guys, it's going to be the best news you could ever get. Because the Republicans in the Senate, whether they want to spend that much or not, they want the president to be Republican. And if he says spend the money, then most of them are going to agree on it, just for the fact that they want him to be reelected. I think this is a genius move by the Democrats in the House of Representatives to make a bill, propose it, release it, and go to the president and say, look, here's our bill. Will you accept it? And then if he says yes, they would pass it in the House of Representatives easy, because they proposed it, and it would go on to the Senate, and I would assume it's gonna pass there. They can pretty easily get 13 of the Republicans to vote for it if President Trump says he wants it, and then the president would sign it. This is the most intelligent move I have ever seen in the stimulus negotiations to date. If you're one of the millions who hasn't received your stimulus check yet, and you're a non-filer, you quite possibly will be getting a letter in the mail. That's what's been said, is that they're going to send out a letter to over 9 million people about the stimulus checks. So be looking out for that letter. It might not be addressed. It might look like junk mail. Make sure you open it and check that it's not from the IRS about your stimulus check. Other YouTubers are saying that the Republicans are moving closer and closer to the Democrats on their $2.2 trillion deal, because Republicans are now at $1.5 trillion. This is true for some of the Republicans, although many Republicans came out yesterday and said they were very against this, and that if President Trump wants more than $1 trillion in the next stimulus package, that he's gonna lose a lot of their support in the Senate. So essentially, once you pass the $1 trillion threshold, the Senate Republicans start to disagree more and more with that stimulus package. Really, the Republicans aren't moving closer. President Trump is moving closer, and hopefully that'll bring enough Republican senators closer as well to an agreement, which I think it will, but they aren't necessarily actually moving closer. Many of them still are staying far away from that number. The $1.5 trillion proposal is still on the table. It hasn't been totally rejected. Although it looks that Nancy Pelosi is going to work up a new plan and propose it and take it directly to President Trump, like I mentioned earlier. She could accept the $1.5 trillion package, or she could hold firm to her $2.2 trillion. My thoughts is that she's going to go somewhere in the middle, 1.9 trillion, maybe 2 trillion, and she's going to see if she can get that. Come down a little bit more and see if she can get what she wants passed. Mark Meadows, the chief of staff for the White House, feels as though the $1.5 trillion package is a good place to resume negotiations. He feels like that's not a bad package. As well, President Trump has said that he feels like he agrees with many of the items in that stimulus package. I know one thing that they disagree on, of course, is the $500 billion for state and local governments. They don't agree with that number whatsoever. They're more around 150 billion, maybe 200 billion is what they would agree to. But we'll see what they're willing to do. It'll depend on what the Democrats work up here in the next few days. I'm interested to see that bill, interested to see what's in that bill, where they want to allocate the money. We've yet to see that. We've yet to see where Nancy Pelosi and her fellow Democrats want to allocate the $2.2 trillion. How much of that would go to state and local governments? How much of that would go to stimulus checks and PPP loans? It'll be very interesting to see where they actually want that money. That could be a huge game changer for Republicans. So if they play their cards intelligently, we could have a stimulus deal here pretty soon if they work together and if they actually want it to happen. That's the big question that we have. Do they actually want a stimulus bill, or do they just want the news coverage and the press attention all on them because, oh, stimulus, and we're all going to talk about stimulus on here? Or do they actually want to get something passed for the American people and do what's right for the American people? Still up in there. Let me know down in the comments what you think, if they really are here to help us or if they just want the news coverage. I hope that you guys have a wonderful rest of your day. Thank you so much for taking time to watch this video. If you don't mind clicking the like button, leaving a comment down below, and subscribing if you aren't already subscribed, it helps the channel out so much. Take care, love you guys, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.